Welcome back. Author Kay Stevens joining us in studio here to talk about The Ghost Trap. Kay, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
What is The Ghost Trap?
Well, first I should let people know if they're worried that this is a horror novel, it's not. It's not about ghosts. It is, the term refers to a lobster trap that has been cut off at the surface and then is abandoned at the bottom of the ocean, which is really actually a metaphor for a lot of the characters in my book.
Okay, so what is, aside from, you know, maybe the title, the inspiration, what is the book about? Simply,
it's about a lobsterman whose girlfriend goes out with him one day to be his sternman, and through a freak accident she's pulled overboard, and by the time he rescues her she has sustained a traumatic brain injury. So the book is really about him coping with the change in the relationship between the two of them in the midst of a trap war that's been really actually brewing between his family and a rival lobstering family for the last 30 years.
How did you decide to set this lobster fishing industry as the backdrop for all that's going on in your story?
Great question. So I moved to Maine in 1993, and I'm a working writer, so I always worked about 4 or 5 jobs and wrote the book on the side. And I would always hang out with my friends who ended up in Camden, Maine, being lobstermen and schooner deckhands and boat builders and everybody in the trades. And everybody just seemed to have all these stories that interblended. And I got my subject matter from really my friends and all of the things that they have experienced. And I don't think anybody had ever written about lobstering in mid-coast Maine at that time when I started writing the book about 2001, 2002. So that was the backdrop to the setting, which was the perfect setting, and it really was about the working class in Camden, Maine at the time.
You know, that's a group of people, work hard, play hard. I'm sure you got some stories.
I do.
And decided to put pen to paper and tell this story. As you do gain their trust and tell this story, what's the reaction been like for people, you know, not just lobster fishermen, men and women, but everybody?
Well, in gaining the trust was first and foremost because, you know, this is a private subculture.
Sure.
And so I had to tell them straight up that I was going to paint the industry in a very positive light, because I actually think the industry is hardworking and fierce and loyal, and I have a lot of admiration for this industry. So I was going to portray them in the way that I saw them. And the reaction, not just to the book, but to the movie, has been phenomenal from the lobstering communities and from all around Maine in the last year. So
you mentioned the movie. Can you tell me a little bit about that part of your journey? Yeah,
okay, that part's crazy because this never happens. Okay, so this was a backlist book that was just kicking around for about 15 years, and a production company from LA called Conlarian Entertainment found the book at a Lincolnville, Maine bookshop, and they read it and they said, you know what, we want to option this book and we want to make a movie out of it. And after 6 years of sort of a lot of pieces coming together, we shot the movie in Mid-Coast, Maine in 2022, and it debuted in Maine and around the country this past summer, and ended up winning about 3 awards for Best Feature.
What's that feel like?
The ride of my life.
It's
unbelievable.
Yeah.
I can't, as an author, I can't even tell you, like, this is the most amazing thing I've ever been through.
You put your, and then to see the cast and the crew all come together and your vision out there, yeah. Awesome stuff. What else are you working on?
I have another novel that should be coming out in the fall of 2025, also maritime themed around lobstering, rum running, and Irish folklore, called By the Dark of the Moon.
Okay.
And so that will be something, if people like this book, they're going to like that one.
If people want to learn more, know more about you, get the book, watch the movie, where should we send them?
Go to theghosttrap.com.
Awesome stuff. All right. Kay, a pleasure. It is a very interesting story, to say the least. Thank you so much for spending some time with us.
Thanks, Brian.